Hello, everybody. This is Doug Herman with Cottonwood Hunting Lodge in Wood Lake, Nebraska, and the nail call. I've had a lot of people have a lot of interest in these calls simply because they do sound like a real turkey. They're not. It's not a joke. It's a call I use all the time. I pretty much use it for every turkey we kill out at Cottonwood Hunting Lodge. Um, I make these calls in three different varieties. There's walnut. I also make maple, and I also make oak. Now they all sound pretty much really close to the same. Some of them have a little deeper, richer sound. Some of them have a little, higher tone to them. But they all do the same thing. You can take and cut on them if you want. You can cut on these calls. The one I'm running right now is the walnut. You can yelp on them. You can do excited hen yelp. You can kiki on them. You can cluck and purr on it. You can tree yelp on it. Now some of them run a little bit better than others. The walnut one, I really like the clucks on it. I love the yelp on it. But most of the time, people are having a hard time, trying to figure out the call or get it to run right. Well, it's pretty simple. It really is. You may have to cut this stone down or let me know, and I will cut it down for you. Not everybody has big old long fingers like me. I mean, I am 6'3", so I do have long fingers. But this is the maple call. It's got a little bit higher pitched. You can kiki on it. He kikis a little bit better than and easier than the walnut call. The walnut call, you got to use a little more pressure. You don't need a lot of pressure on these calls. I want to show you all how to orient this call. When you get this call from me, it has my initials in it. When you put that call in your hand, you're going to put the call in your hand, and you're not going to put it clear up here in your hand like this. You want it out here on the end of your fingers. You want this side edge, and you want to put it in your hand so that the initials are facing up. Otherwise, the slant of this nail, if you see the nail, it has a slant to it. The head of that nail has a slant to it. Not this nail right here, but on the top of the nail, it slants. Okay? Also, another way to do it is this nail has a little diamond on it. See that diamond on the head of that nail? That will always be facing towards you. The initials will always be up. You always want to put the call in your hand with this inside edge about right here on your first knuckle, or right here, the ones you pop and crack all the time. And another thing you want to do is hold the nail or hold the stone in your hand like this. I like to hold it with the fat side. This, if you see, this is a wedge shape. I like to hold it with the fat side towards me, the skinny side away. Then you have to take like you're gonna put your hands together and say a prayer, because we all want to say our prayers every day. Don't forget to thank the Lord every day. Then go ahead and put this call, and you don't want to tip it this way or this way. You want it to be 90 degrees. You want it to be 90 degrees this way. If not, sometimes you'll want to tip it away. That's what you're going to do. You're going to break that call away. You're going to run it down like this. Okay. So when you go to doing that, what you want to do then is you want to orient the call with the middle two fingers on your left hand if you're right-handed, because you're going to run the call with your right hand. Then, but just also a two-handed call. You have to give yourself a base, otherwise this hand's up here floating around and you'll be able to make some yelps and clucks, but you will not be able to get the most out of this call unless you learn how to run it right or correctly. And I've ran this call and I use it all the time. So you're gonna have to learn, and it's got a little bit of a learning curve. But here's the deal. You see how I orient the call with these two fingers? I put them right down here on the edge of this call, on the edge of the box. Then to cluck or to cut, either one, I pop it with these two fingers. And all I'm doing is skipping. If you watch, I skip the nail across the stone. Now don't pick it up. It makes a slight scrape when you run the nail back, but if you don't pick it up, it's just like any other friction call. A box call will make a little bit of a sound on the backstroke, and so will a regular friction or pot call. They're all friction calls, by the way. A pot call is not a friction, any more of a friction call than a box call or this call or any other type of scratch box. They're all friction calls. They run by making their noise by frictions. Don't be mistaken by that. Some people say a box call, running a box call or a friction call. They're all friction calls. They make their sound with friction, okay? A friction call is just that. It's a friction call. So let's dispel that myth right now. So this is a friction call. You pop that call across there like that. Now, my fingers right here never ever leave the box, because I orient that call off them two fingers right there. As you can see, I'm got everything locked together. It actually is a two-handed call. That's why I say you may have to cut this off, because you want to be able to reach across. You want to be able to reach across the stone with your fingers right here. This will allow you to get the most out of this call. So in order to do that, and then you want to reach across. Now to yelp, you just, if you want to make it soft, you see, there's not much movement in my hand. Some people want to move their wrists and everything else. All you're doing is moving your fingers. Anything above the knuckles should not move when you're running this call. So now to get the kiki, all you do is keep that call at a 90-degree angle. As you can see, I move the stone a little bit at the same time. Okay, that's a maple call. Now we're going to go back to the walnut call. See, it's got a little deeper sound. As you can see, I stayed on the front end of that yelp a few notes, and then I broke it over, just like a real turkey would do. I mean, turkeys are turkeys. They're not perfect. This isn't a calling contest. Although I am a competition caller, and I do want to be perfect in my calling because of my competition calling, turkeys are not perfect, and they will yelp sporadically. They will yelp in a high note, then a low note. You know, it's just, we're out to kill turkeys. This is a call to kill turkeys with, and it will do the job if you learn how to run it right. And I promise you, there's not very many people out in your neck of the woods that has this call, and I'll promise you that your turkeys will respond to it. They will give you the results that you want to get if you learn to run the call. Again, put that call in your hand with the initials up. So, and then you put it in your hand, and then put it out here on your fingers. You don't want it in here in your hand. Too many people grab the call and they want to put their hand clear over the top of it, and then they got to run their wrist. That's not the way you run the call. Get it out here on the end of your fingers, and then get it up here, orient the call like this. And then this is the oak call. It's got a real nice kiki if you like to fall hunt. Now that's one oak. Here's another oak. This one's got a little bit different sound. They're all a little different. I mean, now you got to really, you're moving that nail from a 90-degree angle to ending up almost, you're basically, you're rounding or sharpening the head like you're trying to sharpen the head of this nail. If you can tip it a little sideways if you have to. It's got a real good fighting purr on it. But you just got to take a little time and practice the call. Here's another maple I have that I've made. It's got even a little bit deeper, richer sound to it. And the more you keep your fingers over the top of this, I mean, you want to give it room right here to get out. You want that sound to come out. So what you want to do, I mean, if you really want to give it some volume, open your fingers up. But the sound will change because you're echoing inside this box. That's what gives it its throaty sound. I think the maples have the best clucks on them. I really like the ones on the walnut, but I also like the ones on the oak. I mean, it's all up to you. But what you need to do is you got to learn to run this call correctly. If you don't take the time to learn to run this call, you're just basically, you know, not allowing the call to work for you at its best potential. And that's what you want to do, because we're out to kill turkeys. We're not winning contests with this call. We're not contest callers. I mean, I am, but if you're not a contest caller and all you want to do is kill turkeys, you're not going to get, in my opinion, and I kill lots of turkeys with a lot of clients. We kill a lot of turkeys. I get turkeys to respond to this cutting. More than I've ever had on any other call other than a box call, okay? I mean, you get out in western Nebraska and that box call is going to reach out and get to a bird where a mouth call is not going to, or say a regular friction call, whether it be glass, aluminum, slate, ceramic, whatever surface, plane surface it is. This here high pitch will cut the wind pretty good. I can listen to that call. Now that's as real as it gets. There's no friction call on the market that has that sound. None. You watch my hands. I don't move that call very much. But I never lose contact with these two fingers right here. This is the orientation I rely on, or I've learned to get the most out of this call. You can really soft tree up with these if you just let all the pressure off. And it won't take you long to figure this call out if you just watch this video, take your time, get the call. But the main thing is you need to have this stone cut down if it doesn't fit your hand. You need to be able to reach across it. And I don't know if you see how it sits in my hand right there like that. A lot of times when I take it out of my hand, there's a line across my hand. You can actually see it. And I haven't had this call in my hand that long. But that's the way I run it. You want to run it and make the call sound that good, you can experiment with it. Some guys have taken the call and they flipped the stone in their hand because their hands are small and they just learned to do. I can't run it near as well that way. My hands are just too large. I like to have it up here like this. I really like the call. I wouldn't put my name behind it. I wouldn't make them, and I wouldn't sell them if I didn't believe in them. And the only reason I do believe in them is because I've seen them work time in and time out and time over and over and over and over and over again. It's just something about the call. You get 100 yards away from this call, and it sounds so real that you will. If I come up to sneak up in your woods and start running this call, I could definitely fool you into believing that this was a hen coming your way. And the kikis, I use it in the fall all the time. Now, I don't know about you Eastern hunters, but I really like this walnut one. I mean, I don't hunt a lot of Easterns, but boy, it's everybody I run it for back east says it's got that. I mean, you just watch the position of my hand and you'll see. It's not real hard to learn. The main thing you got to learn is if this does not fit your hand, you need to have it cut down, or I'll cut it down for you. It's the main important thing. This stone, the sound all comes out of this box. It comes out of this box completely and totally. It's not coming off the stone. The stone is the friction surface that causes the sound, causes the nail to vibrate at a certain frequency, which allows it to echo inside this box. Now, these nails do have a sharp point on them, so you need to be careful with this. What I like to do is take and put a little cork on the end of it when I'm walking with it in my call vest or pouch or shirt or whatever you choose to use out in the field. This is, you want to put something over the top of it. I do blunt the end of the nail off so it's not a sharp point. But if you push real hard on it, of course, obviously it's going to cause, bodily harm. So, and it's inside the cup, but still, you got to remember it's a sharp point. So just for safety reasons, get yourself a little piece of cork or something to stick over the top of it, especially if you're going to, allow a child to run it, and make sure it's not dangerous by any means. It's not a dangerous call. It's just, for safety measures and, a disclaimer, so to speak. I want you guys to be safe. I want you to enjoy the call, and I want you to have a great time while you're out hunting. I believe that this call will allow you to do it. And I'm telling you, on them old public land birds, I know a lot of you guys hunt public land and public ground where they've been pressured a lot. I will guarantee, not really guarantee, but I will pretty much bet that there isn't anybody in your neighborhood that's got one of these or making the sound that this thing's making. So, if you want one, look me up on Facebook. Give me a holler on my Cottonwood Hunting Lodge. I have a website, an email. It's Turkey Guide, TRKYGUIDE at MSN.com. You can call my phone number. Just find me through the email. You can get on my Facebook page. Whatever you want to do, I'll be happy to get you one of these calls. I mean, I think that you will enjoy it. I think that it will greatly increase your ability to kill turkeys or call turkeys in. And I can almost promise you that there isn't very many of these out here in most necks of the woods. There's just not this many these calls out, but they're getting very popular. I'm going to have a bunch at Nashville this year, hopefully, knock on wood. Maplewood, actually. And anyways, you guys just give me a call. Let me know if you want one. If you need any help or you even want to talk strategy or turkeys, my phone's always on. I love to talk turkeys. I'm ate up by them. I can't get enough of them. I dream about them every day. I want to win a friction calling national championship. I just love the friction calls. Someday, hopefully, this will be as accepted as, say, a pot call or a box call or, a Kiki disc, because, in my opinion, it sounds real. But you can't run that in a contest because they're looking for the disc, not for this. Anyway, you all have a great day. This is Doug Herman with Cottonwood Hunting Lodge, and happy hunting.